Good morning, guys. Well, today I'm back on Frankenbuggy, and like I said in a past video, we got some steering issues I want to take care of. Now, they're not drastic. We had a little bit too much bump steer for my comfort, and so what I have done the other day, I made this plate here, 3/4 inch steel I had. If you recall, before I put the tie rods up here, up in front here. Well, that made it so I'd have to put a bend in it to avoid the corner of the rack. So I'm 86 in that idea, and I am putting the heim joints and the tie rods towards the back here. Now, I made this plate here, drilled it and mounted it to the rack and pinion here, and then I am going to move this forward. Now, what that is going to entail, and I know I said I didn't want to get into major fabrication, but I'm going to get into some fabrication work here, because I'm going to eliminate these posts here. I'm hoping I can get a good cut and able to just move those back here to this point here to support the lower A-arm there. This junction here will come up right here. So anyways, if I can preserve these pieces, I will. If not, they'll be in the trash bin. But I'm going to cut a plate. I got some 1/4 inch plate. I'm going to cut that, put it in front here, move the rack back, and then the heim joints and the tie rods will be mounted on this side, parallel to the A-arm here, lower A-arm, and that should eliminate the bump steer problem that I had. Now, another problem that I had, if you recall, I guess I should say, the limited throw of the rack would not turn my tires enough to my satisfaction. I mean, I wouldn't be able to turn corners without a cutting brake. So, and I said in the video that I would have to move these in. The other day I did drill the holes here and moved the heim joint in there. So, shorter radius here, more throw from the, well, the same throw from the steering box here, but a smaller radius will turn the tire out more. So that should solve that problem there. So move the box out, run it parallel on the outside here, so I don't have the problem, the conflict between the corner and the tie rod, and the tighter radius on the spindles should eliminate the two problems that I had, which was not being able to turn enough. The turning radius was too small to be able to turn corners, and the conflict with the corner of the box and the bump steer. I guess I should have mentioned that instead of mounting all the way out here, which I did, I'm taking the mounts as close as I can to the center here, which will lengthen the arms. And there again, larger radius there on the tie rods will be less bump steer. So the idea for this project, what I'm working on right now, is to solve all the problems that I discovered in the last video. And well, I'm gonna get to work, and we're gonna get this done. mentioned before how I can't use metal as a guide, but see, there's about 3/4 of an inch there between the tip and the guide, and if I run that porcelain along there, then I won't get that arc across there. So more in the learning process, but that is sure nice that I'm able to use a metal guide like that, because I like doing straight lines and I need that to be a straight line. So now I'll prepare that steel to go in the front here, because like I said, I have to move this back and get the steering working properly. So I'll be back in a little bit. Well guys, I think I got it about set up here. Now I had to do a little bit of fabrication work here. As I mentioned before, I was going to put a plate in the front there, and then the mount that I built for the rack will actually be welded to the plate, and I'll shoot these screws that secure the rack through the front there. Then the tie rod, that's running perfectly parallel with the lower arm there. It's running perfectly parallel there. So I took that line up with the straight edge and I made that line right there. So I'm going to drill and tap into that 3/4 inch plate right there, and that's going to sit just about perfect there. So I think that's the game plan here. I had to cut a little bit off the front of the frame here, change the angle a bit, so we're going straight up and down there. And then as you can see, I notched that down there. Now I'm just gonna, I'll angle that and then weld that, cap that at an angle there, and then bring this on up at an angle there. So I'll do all the nice detail work to make it pretty. But right now I just want this thing working properly, and I think that is going to be sitting pretty there. Now it's going to take a couple of U-joints here, because I'll have to put a U-joint up there, and this, I could change the angle of the steering rod here a little bit here. This is how it was sitting before. So change the angle there, shoot down there, which is, it's going to entail putting a bushing in the midpoint there between the bushing on the rack and the U-joint on the rack and the U-joint at this point here. So that's no big deal, but that's how that's going to be, because this is this comfortable here, but I can, changing that angle just a little bit is not going to affect the driving situation there. So no big deal, but the main thing is this will be set up properly. No bending in the tie rod and no bump steer. The camber issue, I was actually thinking that I am going to be cutting a little bit off of these upper arms here. As you can see, this heim joint here is sticking out. I've got over an inch there, and that's probably about 3/4 of an inch there. So I'd like to even that up and increase the camber a little bit, because as this suspension works, I don't want it going out at all. So I might have to start with it inward a bit, so at the height of the camber swing, it's perpendicular to the ground, not leaning out, because you're leaning out, then you're asking for trouble. So, but that's another day. What I'm going to be working on first is the getting the steering, the bump steer taken care of. And I didn't like having that bend in the tie rod, because frankly it would flop down because it was, and it would put a kink or a bind on the heim joint. So as you can see, that one there had that bend to avoid the corner. I didn't like that. I straightened this one out a bit so I could get that straight line there. But this will get all new tie rods once I finish up all the fabrication. The problem with today, as you can see, we got another storm coming in. So I'll go ahead and drill and tap. What do we got here? Drill and tap that 3/4 inch plate and get that ready, and hopefully tomorrow will be a calm day, because I'm welding outside and the shielding air just gets blown away in hurricane weather. So anyways guys, that is what it's looking like, and I think that's going to be working a lot better, and it's no big deal. I know I'm going to end up cutting down these this upper A-arm here, different dimensions. Like this one here, I'm going to take a little bit more off it than this here, but that camber adjustment, we're going to be changing that also. By the end of all this work, that front end is going to be working just fine. Yeah, I just wish it wasn't windy today. Yeah. Alright. That one broke through fine. Alright guys, well, that's a pain in the butt, but they're in there. Got threads cut all the way through, and the heims will fit. The heims will fit just like that. That's the center line there. They'll be nice and tight, but they won't be touching. That's as close as I can get them on the steering box, the rack and pinion. Thus, as long as I can make those tie rods. The longer the tie rods, the less bump steer. As long as we have all the angles right, which I think I'm going to have it correct this time. So yeah, I'm excited to get this going, but hopefully we have a calm day tomorrow. I can do some welding tomorrow. Like I said, I'm going to cut these A-arms down a little bit. I mean, those are sitting just about an inch toe in. I'll probably bring it to about 2. And then the mount that I made for the box will get welded onto here, holes drilled, so the box will be mounted to that plate. As you can see, this is not a good day for welding. Got lucky with that tack. But anyways guys, I'm gonna call it a day today. No point in even fighting this weather anymore. But I'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully there's no wind and rain in the morning, and we can get this front end put together finally. So thanks a lot for watching today, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a great evening, everyone.